special presentation done by the students of the University of Boya, Faculty of Education in Cameroon. Okay, we are here for a course known as Educational Foundation and Administration. We have been given a presentation to do, and we promise you it's just going to be the best. So please, what we are going to dwell on is educational administration, and we are going to define. We cannot talk about educational administration without going to the foundation, which is education. So we start by defining education. What is education? What is administration? What is educational administration? So those terms we are going to play with as the video goes on. For now, let's go into the definition of concepts. Okay, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the definition of concepts, which are education, administration, and of course, educational administration. So we move right into the definition of concepts.
I'm a team member for Group 5, and I'm taking the definition of key concepts. So we have three major concepts that run through this assignment. We have education, we have administration, and we have educational administration. So for education, we are going to define education as a lifelong process. That means from the time when an individual is born right up to when they die. That involves the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and competencies. It can also be the imparting of knowledge, skills, and competencies to an individual in the case of teaching. So that's what we have there for education. For our next definition of a key concept, we have administration. Administration will refer to the process, the systematic process of acquiring human capital, material resources towards the achievement of a particular objectives of an organization. So some of these resources can include human resources, financial resources, and materials. Right? So it is the execution of executive duties in an organization or institution. While looking at educational administration as a mixture of these two main concepts as defined. Right? And educational administration here refers to the use of human capital and material resources in an educational setting, in a school setting or an institution, to meet the aims, the goals and objectives of education.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ayon, for presenting to us the definitions of this key concept in educational administration. Now we're going to the aims of educational administration. I'll be calling on my other classmate, Lois Bella, to present to us the aims of educational administration. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm called Cyrus Bella, and I'm here to present on the aims of educational administration. One of the aims of educational administration is to provide support to students in and out of the school campus or the environment. Another aim of educational administration is to ensure that resources are effectively utilized. Here, we are talking on how resources are being used for their purposes. Another aim of educational administration is to foster good communication amongst both teachers and students or persons within or out of the school environment.
Greetings to everyone. I am called Nembo Majid, and I will be presenting on the aims of educational administration. To create a positive and conducive environment, you will bear with me that students cannot learn in an environment where it is not conducive. So as an aim of educational administration, it is to create a positive and a conducive environment. Again, to allocate and manage resources efficiently. When we talk of resources here, we talk of teaching materials, we talk of didactic materials. Again, to ensure a smooth functioning of the educational system. The educational system is made up of authorities from the principal, vice principals, senior discipline masters as well as teachers. And they are all there to ensure that the educational system functions smoothly. Also to ensure professional development and grant opportunities for teachers and students. What type of granting professional development or granting opportunities for teachers and students? By the end of the academic year or by the end of each sequence, prizes are always awarded to the best students, to the first positions, the second positions, as well as the third positions. And as well as prizes are also awarded to the best teachers, either by punctuality, either by output, or name it. And all these things are done in order to encourage them to do perfect work and be punctual. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Madrid and Miss Lois Bella, for giving to us the various aims of educational administration. Right now, we'll be moving to our next objective, which is the functions of educational administration. I'll be calling on my other classmate, Miss Lois, to come up and present to us the functions of this educational administration. Thank you.
I am Cameroon Lois and I am presenting on the functions of educational administration. They are as follows. 1. Strategic planning. The educational administration has the function to plan with the school board in order to achieve the educational goals and success of the school. 2. Financial decision making. Educational administration has the function to allocate funds, like allocating the salaries of the teachers and providing textbooks and other supplies and allocating state funds. 3. Educational administration has to improve on the technology of the school. That is making sure the school is at the standards of achieving the goals of the education and the state. 4. Educational administration has the function to supervise staff. This is to make sure the staffs are performing well in ensuring that the needs of the students and the entire school district are fully and effectively achieved. 5. Educational administration has the function to make sure the facilities of the school are intact and possible for students to use. 6. Educational administration has to put in mind designing the curriculum for the students' use in the best possible way to achieve the educational goals and objectives.
Okay, I'll be introducing to us one of my classmates, Miss Lisa, to present to us how educational administration can be used in solving conflicts in the context of Cameroon.
Hi, I'm Lisa, presenting on how can educational administration be used in resolving conflicts in Cameroon. At this point, we have main concepts, which are conflicts and conflict resolution. Talking of conflicts, according to Howard and Raymond, 1985, conflict is a struggle between at least two independent parties who perceive incompatible goals, scores, rewards, and interference from other parties in achieving their goals. Secondly, a conflict resolution. It is a non-violent process that manages conflict through the assistance of a third party who either facilitates or imposes settlement. Educational administration can be instrumental in resolving conflicts by implementing various strategies aimed at promoting understanding, collaboration, and effective communication among stakeholders. Here are some ways in which administration can resolve conflicts in Cameroon?
First point which can be used to resolve conflict in Cameroon through educational administration. We have curriculum infusion or integration. Here, this is a practice whereby school administrators can infuse or can integrate their curriculums by adding conflict resolution strategies in other subject matters in order to teach the students or to educate even the teachers about the important ways or the various ways of resolving conflicts in a negotiable manner, which will be comfortable for the two or the both parties involved in the conflict situations. Another point which can be used is restorative justice practices. With these restorative justice practices, the administrators can implement this policy whereby the existing conflict situations are being restored. That is, the destructive causes or the destructive properties as a result of conflicts are being constructed or they are being provided to the parties involved, rather than using harsh methods or rather than implementing methods which will be in a disadvantages or which will instead hurt the parties involved. Here, the administrators, basically the educational administrators, can implement these justice practices in order to reduce or in order to avoid the consequences as the conflict arrives in any area in the country.
Another way in which educational administration can be used in conflict resolution in Cameroon is by promoting conflict resolution skills. Educational administration can promote conflict resolution skills and tools to students, teachers, and staff. Such skills include active listening, empathy, problem solving, and making decisions by providing opportunities to learn these skills.
We involve strategies to resolve conflicts. Some of the strategies include acting as a mediator or a facilitator. By acting as a facilitator, you listen to the competing parties and provide a neutral ground, and then where you can guide them towards the resolution of the conflict. The next strategy is the implementation of educational procedures and policies. You ensure that both parties implement educational procedures and policies and provide them with clear educational procedures in such a way that the conflicting parties understand the problem and then thereby coming out with a resolution. Then we move to the next point: organizing conflict management training program. By organizing conflict management training program, both for the student and the staff, the students and the staff will be able to acquire conflict resolution skills, which will help them in resolving conflicts in educational milieu. The next point will including conflict management program in the school curriculum. In doing that, students will be able to resolve conflicts among their peers, as well as staff will be able to resolve conflicts maybe between teachers and students, or teachers and teachers, or the teachers and the administrator. The next one will be providing institution to victims of conflict. So, doing resolution of conflict, when you find victims, we will be able to conflict facilitator will be able to provide compensation for victims, thereby helping in resolving conflicts in educational milieu. Thank you.
Taking some real life scenarios concerning how educational administration can be implemented in and out of school. So the first question we have for our group members is a real life scenario which can occur in a school setting. And in this scenario, a gate man of a particular school notices a Form 5 student who is coming into school with bruises, indicating that he or she has been beaten. He then reports to the discipline master, who then reports to the school principal. As a school principal and as an administrator in the capacity of a discipline master, how can you go about resolving this problem in the school setting?
Alright, so I sit as a principal in my office, and then my gate man walks in with a particular student filled with bruises. And definitely the gate man tells me that this child has been beaten physically. I can even see it. And so as the principal of this school, what will happen is I have to take procedures, I have to take measures in order to ensure that, you know, we have proper conflict resolution. And so what I will do in that case is that I will make sure that I do proper follow-up. First, I have to take the name of the students. Then I have to take maybe their classroom as in, are they in Form 1, Form 2, which class are they found in? Then the next step is that I have to ensure that I take this particular child, because the bruises might just be a bit on their body, but then they might be having internal bleeding. And so I have to call for the nurse in school at that moment to actually have the child rest in the nurse station. Then I follow the procedure by taking the child's number, the parents' contact them, make sure that it is an emergency for them to come to my office. And so from there we book a meeting, then we talk about it, what is happening. And so in the process of talking about it, what is happening, then I will be able to understand what happened, that this child is actually molested.
So we are looking at a situation where a student is being beaten by a teacher in the classroom for being disobedient. We all understand that corporal punishment is something that's on its way out in our educational system. So in a situation where a teacher goes out of their way and beats a student in the classroom, and the student returns home just to inform the parents that they have been beaten up by a teacher, and the angry parents comes to school to confront the administration about that particular occurrence. As an administrator, be it a vice principal or a principal or the proprietor of the school, how would you handle that situation?
Alright, in such a situation, what I as an administrator or as a proprietor would do is, first of all, I calm down the angry parents of the said students, and I find out from the classmates of that student what actually happened. And if the situation entails any care or medical care or something, I assure the parent that we, the administrators of the school, we are going to take care of that situation and the child is going to be fine. Or I will book an appointment with the parent in order to calm the parent down while I talk with my teacher on what happened, and after which we'll make sure that everything is fine and they are very much satisfied.
Okay, now we have a situation where a student who is internally displaced and hasn't been to school for a few years comes to a new community, and because his or her parents are no longer able, due to the socio-political crisis in Cameroon, is no longer able to send the child to school, what then can be the role of an administrator, in this case a principal or a vice principal, to help this child continue school in that particular local area?
educational administrator. Moving on the street and finding students not going to school, like for financial reasons, you can maybe contact the parents and see the problem. If they tell you it's a financial problem, since you're an educational administrator and you're a principal, you can launch like scholarships in order to help these students to acquire education, because every child has the right to acquire education.
Educational administration plays a vital role in conflict resolution by promoting understanding, collaboration, and effective communication towards the resolution of conflicts in Cameroon.
Right, so we have seen how we can use the aims and functions of educational administration towards promoting understanding, towards promoting effective communication and collaboration amongst the stakeholders in education. And we have seen how to use all of these towards resolving the conflict that we have in our nation, Cameroon. So like we said, we are students of the Department of Educational Psychology, Department of FR and Department of CSC at the University of Buea. And we are very happy to bring you this presentation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you all later.